Thanks for joining me. Well, today let's take a look at Yemen, which has become a vast battlefield, the scene of unending armed conflict. As a result, the civilian population is now in the throes of what's universally described as the world's worst humanitarian disaster. On the brink of famine, the nation faces failing sewerage and wrecked water supplies, which have led to the worst cholera outbreak in recent history. The UN reckons 3/4 of Yemen's 28 million people need some kind of humanitarian aid. Now, what's led to this catastrophic state of affairs? Even more relevant, of course, is what can be done to bring it to an end. On one level, the situation in Yemen is just one instance of the fault line that runs through Islam, the Sunni-Shia divide. The main protagonists are, on the one hand, Saudi Arabia and its 8-nation Sunni Muslim coalition, and on the other, Shiite Iran, supporting the Shia Muslim Houthi rebels. But in fact, turmoil is the predominant theme of Yemenite history. A one-time monarchy was replaced by a republic, and the republic by a virtual dictatorship under Ali Abdullah Saleh, who ruled Yemen for 33 years, surviving a Saudi-backed civil war in 1994. But resistance continued to smoulder up in the north, and from its midst emerged a charismatic leader named Hussein al-Houthi. Soon the rebels were calling themselves Houthis. But in 2004, al-Houthi was killed in one of the Saudi-backed military campaigns launched by Saleh in an attempt to destroy them. Saleh himself became a victim of the so-called Arab Spring of 2011. Mass popular protests and pressure from neighbouring states forced him to step down in 2012 in favour of his vice president, Abed Rabo Mansour Hadi. But Saleh had given up the keys of office with a very bad grace, and was quite prepared to ally himself with his erstwhile enemies, the Houthis, in an attempt to maneuver his way back to power. As a result, and supported with military hardware from Iran's Revolutionary Guards, they overran large tracts of the country, including the capital city, Sana'a. The subsequent turn of events seems depressingly familiar in the context of Yemen's long history. Saudi Arabia, determined to prevent Iran from extending its footprint into the Arabian Peninsula, intervened in March 2015 to beat back the Houthis. Saudi's charismatic young crown prince, Mohammed bin Salman, assembled a coalition of Arab states, obtained the diplomatic backing of the United States, the United Kingdom, Turkey, and Pakistan, and launched a series of airstrikes against the rebels. The unconventional Saleh-Houthi partnership came to an abrupt end on December 2nd, 2017, when Saleh went on television to declare that he was splitting from the Houthis and was ready to enter into dialogue with the Saudi-led coalition. This volte-face was to end in tragedy. On December 4th, Saleh's house in Sana'a was besieged by Houthi fighters, and attempting to escape, he was killed. What Yemen needs is a return to a unified structure, democratic elections, and an inclusive government. And the future largely depends on the Houthis. Do they wish to remain an outlawed militia permanently, or would they prefer to become a legitimate political party, able to contest parliamentary and presidential elections and participate in government? UN Resolution 2216 aims to establish democracy in a federally united Yemen. It could be the basis for a peace initiative. Backed by a UN peacekeeping force, with Iran deterred by new sanctions, if necessary, from sustaining the Houthis, a lasting political deal would involve the end of the Saudi-led military operation and probably a major financial commitment by Saudi Arabia to fund the rebuilding of the country. Can the enmities of centuries finally be put to one side? Negotiations aimed at a peaceful transition to a political solution for a united Yemen. A long shot, but one eminently worth attempting. Well, thank you for listening, and do please join me again next time. Goodbye.